These clips surface during live streams, casual FaceTimes, or everyday moments.
Selena's gonna have a long, healthy life.
And what they captured feels anything but normal. So hold tight, because what you're about to witness are the strangest videos that have no explanation.
Go now.
The live video began like any other, just a beautiful lady sitting quietly, not saying a word. Nothing seemed out of place at first, but then she slowly raised her hand and pointed directly at the viewers, as if calling them to follow her. Without breaking eye contact, she started taking small steps backward, heading toward an open cupboard behind her. As she reached the shadows, her face changed, her features twisted, her eyes began to glow, similar to the nun from the movies. The calm stream turned disturbing within seconds. Viewers flooded the chat, unsure of what they had just witnessed. Some believed it was a prank or filter, but many weren't convinced. They kept asking the same question: was she really a person, or something else entirely? Possession on live stream. Two girls were live on camera, sharing horror stories with their viewers when things took an unexpected turn. One of the girls started acting strange, her expression changing slowly as she stared blankly ahead. Her friend, worried, held her hand and gently tried to move her, but the girl just kept staring at her in a creepy way. The atmosphere grew tense as the girl's body seemed to stiffen, her eyes darkening, and soon it was clear she had become possessed. Her friend, terrified, pulled her away from the camera. But then, after a few moments, the girl revealed that it was all a prank. The creepy performance was meant to scare her friend and the viewers, but the chilling moment still left everyone feeling uneasy. Streamer stalker. During a calm live stream, this streamer was chatting away, unaware of the eerie presence behind her. Through the glass door, a pale figure stood motionless, eyes fixed on her. The door remained shut, and she had no idea anything was amiss. Viewers in the chat were quick to point it out, but she carried on.
Y es que muchísima gente me dice que me parezco a la Dua Lipa del 2018 más o menos.
Oblivious to the figure lurking just behind her. It wasn't until later, when reviewing the stream, that she noticed the chilling detail. There it was, staring right at her, unnoticed. The unsettling moment left her speechless, wondering what had been silently watching her during the entire broadcast. The mystery of the pale figure remains unexplained. Creepy lady. This girl was live on camera when odd noises came from the kitchen behind her. She kept the stream going, slowly turning her head as the sounds grew louder. That's when something strange crawled out into view. It had long, tangled hair that dragged along the floor, and its face was an unnatural red, almost glowing in the dim light. The figure moved slowly on all fours, creeping closer without making a sound. She didn't scream or run. She just sat still, lips pressed tight, eyes locked on the screen. Viewers watched in disbelief, unsure if it was real, but the fear in her eyes made it clear this wasn't a prank. Creepy mask man. A strange and unsettling video has been making its rounds online, leaving viewers in a state of confusion. At first glance, it seems like any other typical clip, a man recording himself, casually talking to the camera. But as he removes a pale, lifeless mask from his face, everything changes. What's underneath isn't human. The man's face transforms into something unrecognizable, alien-like, and void of features. As the clip gains more attention, people can't help but wonder, is this an elaborate prank or something far more sinister? The video has sparked a frenzy of speculation, with some convinced it's proof of the paranormal or extraterrestrial. The mystery deepens, leaving more questions than answers. peeking creature. An elderly woman named Vicky was home alone one quiet evening when something strange caught her attention.
Keeps peeking in here on me. Oh my goodness gracious, what the hell?
From the other room, she noticed a mysterious creature peering at her through the doorway.
This house is haunted. There's something in the other room.
Her heart raced. There was no one else in the house, and she didn't have any pets. The creature's presence was chilling, its eyes unsettling.
What do you need? I don't even know who you are. This house is haunted.
Vicky stood frozen, unsure of what she was seeing. Terrified and confused, she couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't just any creature. Now she believes it might have been a Skinwalker. Hidden ghost. While exploring an abandoned house and streaming live, this man entered an old bathroom. As he panned the camera around, he saw something strange. A child's figure hidden behind the wall. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light, but as he moved closer, the figure became clearer. The child was crouched, staring at him. When he reached out to approach, the child vanished instantly, disappearing into thin air. Viewers were stunned, leaving comments filled with shock and confusion, but the child never reappeared, leaving the mystery unsolved. Haunted frame. While this man was casually talking to his viewers during a live stream, something strange started catching everyone's attention. Behind him on the wall, there was a photo frame of a woman. At first, it looked like any ordinary picture. But as the man kept speaking, the viewers noticed something odd. The eyes. The pupils of the woman in the photo weren't still. They seemed to follow the camera, slowly shifting as if watching the live stream too. The man had no idea, but the chat exploded with comments. Some said it was just a trick of the light, but others weren't so sure. The picture never moved, yet the gaze felt too real, like the woman in the photo was quietly staring, not at him, but at everyone watching the screen. Haunted dolls. While going live on Instagram, a man set out to explore an abandoned house, sharing the experience with his followers. Everything seemed normal at first, just dusty furniture and a quiet, forgotten space. But then he entered a room filled with old dolls.
Oh, shit, that is creepy weird. Oh.
At first, they looked harmless, their eyes frozen in a blank stare. As he moved around the room, though, something strange happened. The doll's eyes began to shift, following his every step. Their bodies remained still, but their gaze never left him. The man, trying to stay calm, continued filming, but the growing unease was evident in his voice. His followers flooded the comments, pointing out the creepy movements. Realizing he had to get out, he rushed to leave, ending the live stream in a hurry.
Oh, shit, that is creepy weird. Oh.
Ghost friend.
Becky.
She had been hearing strange voices from her daughter's room for days, but every time she checked, everything seemed normal. One evening, unable to ignore the unsettling sounds any longer, she decided to set up her phone and record. As the camera rolled, she waited in the hallway, hoping to catch something unusual. What the video revealed was chilling. Her daughter was sitting on her bed, playing with her toys, but in front of her, a shadowy figure was seated, staring at the child.
Becky.
It remained still for a moment, but as soon as the mother appeared in the doorway, the figure vanished without a sound. The mother stood there, confused and terrified, wondering if what she saw was real or just her mind playing tricks. Facetiming Encounter. A man was FaceTiming his wife while his children slept beside him on the bed. Everything seemed normal until he noticed something strange in the reflection of his phone screen. A creepy figure standing behind him. He quickly turned around, but the figure was gone. The room was empty. He checked again, but there was no trace of anyone or anything that could explain what he had seen. The house was quiet, and his children remained asleep, unaware of what had just occurred. Creepy doll.
No manches, mira.
This creepy video from 2013 shows a doll during a quinceañera celebration. The owner introduces the doll to the camera, but suddenly the doll's head turns on its own, facing her. Startled, she throws the doll to the floor and rushes out of the room in fear. The camera captures the doll lying still, but the eerie feeling lingers. Viewers are left wondering what really happened. Was it a trick or something far more unsettling? The mystery remains unanswered.
No manches, mira.
Ghost Catcher Encounter.
Go now.
What would you do if you saw something reaching out from the darkness, but it vanished before you could react? A group of ghost hunters had that very experience in an abandoned house. They were recording the eerie atmosphere, setting up cameras near the stairs while staying on a video call. One of the girls, sitting quietly next to the camera, suddenly noticed something moving. A dark hand emerged from the shadows, creeping toward her. In a panic, she grabbed the camera to record, but by the time she looked again, the hand had disappeared. The room was empty, and the chilling silence returned. The team couldn't explain what happened, and the footage only deepened the mystery.
Go now. Down. Just make sure we can see. I mean, that is fast.
Curtain Ghost.
So for today's drink,
While going live, this girl suddenly noticed movement in the curtains right behind her. Without saying a word, she quickly stood up, turned around, and punched toward the fabric, like trying to hit something hiding there. Then she yanked the curtains aside with force, looked outside for a second, and slammed the window shut. It all happened so fast that viewers barely had time to react. The live kept going, but everyone watching was left confused about what she had seen. Creature behind girl. It was just another ordinary live stream, or so it seemed. The content creator, immersed in her conversation with viewers, didn't notice what was happening behind her. Slowly, a shadowy figure began to appear in the corner of the room. It was subtle at first, hard to make out, but as it drew closer, the viewers started to catch on. They flooded the chat with comments, pointing it out, but she carried on, oblivious to the presence lurking behind her. It wasn't until after the stream that she rewatched the footage and saw it for herself. A chilling thought crept in. Who or what had been there, just inches away, unnoticed? Toy Story. One afternoon, a man was searching for his dog when he stumbled upon something that made him question reality. As he entered the living room, he saw his dog sitting beside Woody, the cowboy toy from Toy Story. What was strange was that the toy seemed to be interacting with the dog, almost like it was alive. The man couldn't believe his eyes. But as soon as he moved closer, Woody fell over like a regular doll, lifeless once again. Was it just a coincidence? Or was there something far more bizarre happening here? The mystery lingered, leaving him with an unsettling feeling. Screaming creature. As a girl was wrapping up some laundry while live streaming, she glanced up at the bathroom door and froze. At the top, a pale figure stood, screaming, but no sound came out. Her heart raced. Without thinking, she rushed to the other side of the wall. But when she did, the bathroom was completely empty. No figure, no noise, just silence. She stood there for a moment, trying to make sense of it, but the unsettling image wouldn't leave her mind. What had she seen? Peeking intruder. While live on Twitch, a woman was casually chatting with her viewers when something strange caught her attention. Outside her window, a dark figure stood in the shadows, its long hair hanging down around its face. The figure didn't move, only stared into her room, sending an eerie chill through the air. She paused, her viewers flooding the chat with concerned messages, but she couldn't tear her eyes away. It felt as though the figure was aware of her watching, but the silence was deafening. She wondered, was it just a trick of the light, or something much more sinister? Twitch streamer. This Twitch streamer was in the middle of his usual live session when something unexplainable started happening. At first, everything seemed normal, but then the doors behind him began to open and close on their own. The lights flickered, creating an unsettling atmosphere. Then, objects on his desk started shifting around, moving as if pushed by an invisible hand. He stayed there, trying to keep it together, looking back at the camera, unsure of what was going on. His viewers flooded the chat with questions, but neither he nor anyone else could figure out what was causing the strange occurrences. It was an eerie moment that left everyone watching on edge, wondering if something unseen was truly there with him. Haunted house. This man was home alone, casually FaceTiming his friend when things took an eerie turn.
Julie, my door opened. What? No, stop.
He noticed his door moving, as if someone was trying to open it from the other side.
It's not even that late. Kevin's not home from work yet. What the hell?
A bit curious and uneasy, he stepped out to check, but found no one there.
Julie, lying.
As he walked back inside his room, another door inside the room began opening and closing on its own.
What the No. Oh!
The unsettling moment continued. Objects around the house started shifting by themselves, like an invisible force was at work. He watched it all unfold live during his FaceTime call, with no explanation for what was happening. Shadowy Figure. It started off as a normal night shift for two nurses in a hospital in Mexico. They were filming each other on a phone, just passing time. Until something strange appeared behind them. A dark figure moved past a doorway in the background, fast and silent. They quickly ran toward the operating room to check, but the space was completely empty. No one was inside, and there were no other ways out. Moments later, a medical table slid slowly across the floor on its own. Both stood still, unsure of what they were seeing. They called the authorities, but even after checking every corner, no one could explain what had happened. The footage left people with more questions than answers, and that quiet hospital hallway hasn't felt the same since. Live guest.
You know what I mean? Like, did anybody else just see that?
During a live stream, this man noticed a shadow move quickly across the room, heading into the kitchen behind him. He paused, eyes widening as he looked behind, but there was no one there. His viewers began flooding the chat, asking if he saw it too. The man slowly turned back to the camera, unsure of what he had just witnessed. The kitchen remained empty. Everyone was left wondering what had caused that shadow, and where had it gone.
Did anybody else just see that?
Dark web lunch. Although the location of this video remains unknown, many believe the man sitting at the table might have been kidnapped and forced into participating. He was seated calmly, but appeared uncomfortable as mysterious figures in costumes surrounded him. They had prepared something for him to eat, but no one knew what it was. The man hesitated, glancing nervously at the camera as the figures stood silently in the background. The video itself is unsettling, leaving viewers with a sense of dread. The unsettling part? No one knows what truly happened behind the camera or why he was there in the first place. The mystery only deepens with each watch, making this video all the more eerie. Gamer horror. Gaming was supposed to be just another way to relax after a long day. This man had his headset on, fully focused on the screen, until a dark figure suddenly moved past the corridor beside him. Confused, he stood up and looked around the house. Every room was empty, no signs of anyone else being there. Then, one of the doors began opening and closing slowly on its own. He turned, and there it was again.
If you're walking by my office, I want you to knock it off. Holy. Is that you making all that noise back there?
The same dark shadow slipping out of sight near the kitchen. Before he could react, the chair beside his table slid back across the floor.
You're gonna lock yourself in the laundry room again? You're not leaving? You're not...
Completely on its own. He didn't wait any longer. Leaving everything behind, he ran straight out of the house, leaving the game, the lights, and the mystery still running inside. Girl encounter. A peaceful afternoon, a song to record for her mom. What could go wrong? But in the middle of her sweet melody, something strange interrupted. A soft knock echoed through the room, just enough to make her pause. No one was there, yet the knock came again, a little louder this time.
¿Quién? ¿Quién anda ahí?
She cautiously walked to the door, but when her camera captured a hand above it, her heart raced. She opened the door, finding nothing.
¿Qué? ¿Quién?
Returning to her spot, the knocking continued. Then, as if the room itself had turned against her, her bedsheet slipped off the bed without a cause. There was no one, yet she couldn't shake the feeling she wasn't alone. Disappearing on live. People were waiting in line at the airport security check when something strange happened. The man at the front disappeared all of a sudden, right in front of everyone. No noise, no warning. 1 second he was there, the next, only his suitcase remained. People looked around in shock, thinking it was a trick, but nothing explained how he vanished without a trace. Security searched the area, but there was no sign of him, just an empty spot where he once stood. Moving doll. A little girl was recording herself while playing with her doll, laughing as she moved it around. Everything seemed fine until the doll's hand suddenly twitched on its own. She paused for a moment, unsure of what she had seen, but thought it might be a mistake. Then the doll's hand moved again, this time more clearly. Without a second thought, the girl stopped recording, quickly stood up, and ran out of the room, leaving everything behind. She rushed down the hallway, making her way straight to her mom. The room was left in silence, the camera still on the floor, capturing the empty space where the strange event had just occurred. Ghost hunters encounter. Ghost hunters were called to investigate a house where the current residents kept hearing strange footsteps.
Come to me. Are you a little boy?
Someone running up and down the stairs, even when no one was there. The house had a tragic history. A little boy had been lost in a fire years ago. During the investigation, one of the ghost hunters called out to the boy's spirit. What happened next sent chills down everyone's spine. Right in front of the camera, a shadowy figure, small, like a child, quickly passed by.
No. Turn towards me like you were earlier. Put your back towards me.
There was no one else in the room, and the atmosphere grew heavy with an eerie presence. The team was left stunned, unsure of what they had just witnessed. Dogman on live. Imagine being in the middle of a live stream, casually sharing an unusual experience, when something strange darts across the screen.
This is the exact spot that I just...
That's exactly what happened to a Facebook user in June 2020, as he recounted his chilling encounter with a creature resembling a werewolf or Dogman.
This is the exact spot that I just...
The room behind him seemed to darken. Suddenly, a tall, shadowy figure rushed across the frame, moving so quickly that it couldn't have been a person or an animal. The man's reaction was immediate. He slammed the door behind him, his face pale with fear. Though the figure vanished just as quickly as it appeared, it left an unsettling mystery. Was it a trick of the mind, or something far more unsettling lurking in the dark? Demonic entity. A girl was home alone, enjoying her evening when she started hearing strange noises from the kitchen. At first, she thought it was just the house settling, but the sounds kept getting louder. Feeling uneasy, she decided to record the kitchen with her phone while she stepped outside for a moment. When she returned and watched the footage, her heart dropped. An object had fallen from the counter, but what terrified her the most was the shadowy figure that appeared behind it, staring directly at the camera. In a panic, she ran out of the house.
No mames! No mames!
Unable to explain what she had just witnessed, what had been lurking in her kitchen all along. Scary hospital. This grandson was spending the night at the hospital to look after his admitted grandma. The lights were dim, and the hallway outside was silent. But then, something unusual happened. A medical machine placed near the wall suddenly started to move on its own. No one was around, and nothing had touched it. Slowly, it rolled across the room and stopped right in front of his bed. He grabbed his phone and started recording, trying not to panic. The wheels didn't make much noise, but the way it moved felt unnatural, like someone invisible was guiding it. He looked around but saw nothing. The staff said the machine couldn't move without being pushed. That recording still leaves people wondering what really happened that night inside that quiet hospital room. Slide ghost. Have you ever caught something on camera that you couldn't explain? That's exactly what happened to a mother recording her child's first time on the slide. As her little one eagerly climbed to the top, the camera captured something chilling. Just behind the child, a faint, ghostly face appeared at the top of the slide. It was still, watching, and completely out of place. The face didn't belong to anyone nearby, and it was so vivid in the video that it made her freeze. Was it a trick of the light, or something far more unsettling? Whatever it was, it left her with more questions than answers. Creepy cook. A live video has been circulating on the internet, showing a strange, creepy woman with an unsettling smile. She stands holding a knife in her hand. Her expression never wavers, and her smile only grows more eerie with each movement. Viewers can't look away, unable to understand the unsettling vibe the woman gives off. The video has left many wondering what the woman's intentions really were. Heavy footsteps. The night had been calm until the couple began hearing strange noises coming from the basement. At first, they dismissed it, but as the sounds grew louder, the man couldn't shake the feeling something was wrong. He decided to investigate while streaming live. Heading down, everything seemed ordinary, nothing out of place. But just as he was about to leave,
Hello?
the distinct sound of heavy footsteps echoed from behind him. He turned around, his heart racing, but there was no one there. Confused and shaken, he quickly rushed back upstairs, the unsettling noise echoing in his mind long after the stream ended.
Oh my god!
Paranormal presence. This Instagram user was just trying out a few simple tests in his room. Nothing too serious, just to see if anything strange might happen. First, he tossed a balloon into the air, casually watching it float. But then it jerked to the side, like something had smacked it. He looked around. No one else was there. In the second clip, he stood quietly, and that's when he heard slow, careful footsteps behind him. Moments later, something slapped his hand. For his last test, he set a toilet paper roll down and just watched. Bit by bit, it started to unravel on its own. He didn't speak much, just kept recording, quietly stunned. It was the kind of thing you don't expect to catch, but once you do, it stays in your mind. Skinwalker dog. One day, this streamer was casually recording his dog walking around the house when something unsettling happened. The dog, usually on all fours, suddenly stood up on its hind legs and began walking like a person. It moved with a strange, almost unnatural grace, as if it had practiced this before. The man, taken aback, thought he might be seeing things, but when he uploaded the video online, the comments flooded in. Viewers were quick to point out how eerie the dog's movement looked, with some even suggesting it could be a skinwalker, not a regular dog. The unsettling footage left everyone questioning what they had just witnessed, and it stuck with the streamer long after. Filter ghost. While a couple played around with filters, something strange happened. They snapped a photo near a framed picture of an animated girl, and the filter, which normally only detects living beings, suddenly appeared on the image. The animated girl in the frame seemed to come to life for a moment, as if the filter had interacted with her. The couple froze, unsure of what they had just captured. Was it a glitch? Or was there something more to this odd moment? Chucky doll. On December 30th, a TikTok video was shared that quickly went viral, leaving viewers intrigued and unsettled. The video, captured by security cameras in a home, showed a Chucky doll placed on a chair, moving on its own, without anyone in the room. The footage, recorded at 4:00 p.m., showed the doll sitting still in a room with mint green walls. Moments later, the doll's head slowly turned toward the security camera. It then moved its head left and right, as though it were alive. The family, who had set up the camera to capture any unusual occurrences, were left shocked and speechless, wondering if it was a glitch or something far more sinister. Mimic on camera. This man was home with his friend when he suddenly heard his wife's voice calling from outside a locked door, followed by knocking.
Vai embora da minha casa agora!
The strange part? His wife was out of town. Confused and worried, he quickly pulled out his phone and started recording the moment on Instagram Live. The voice sounded exactly like his wife, and the knocking grew louder. When they opened the door, no one was there. Viewers were left in disbelief, wondering what really happened. To this day, the source of the voice remains a mystery.
Você não é bem-vindo aqui.
And now, let's move on to the subscriber's pick. While live on TV, this reporter began acting strangely. At first, it was subtle, but soon viewers noticed her face shifting, her skin seemed to ripple, and her features distorted, resembling something reptilian.
At the other end, Angelina's going to have a long, healthy life.
Something similar happened to another news reporter too, where viewers noticed the reptilian face. The change was brief, but unsettling. Viewers flooded the comment section, questioning what they were witnessing. The reporter continued on as if nothing was wrong, unaware of the growing confusion. What caused this strange shift in her appearance? To this day, no one has an explanation. And with that, see you next time.